There is a current that runs through the universe, an invisible river of power that separates the island of wishing from the continent of achievement. It is not luck. It is not privilege. It is not genius in the way the world defines it. It is a habit, but not a habit of action, not a routine you check off a list in the morning. It is a habit of the soul, a habit of the mind, so powerful, so fundamental, that it organizes reality around itself. This one habit is the silent architect of every great fortune, the unseen engine behind every monumental leap in human history, the quiet force that turns ordinary men and women into legends. It is the grand secret hidden in plain sight, the one discipline that, once mastered, makes all other disciplines fall into place. It is the habit of definiteness of purpose. Look around you. Look at the 97% who drift through life, tossed by the waves of circumstance, their days governed by the whims of others, their dreams vague and formless whispers. They hope for more. They wish for better. They want to be happy, to be successful, to be wealthy. But want is a beggar. Hope is a lottery ticket. These are not forces of creation. They are clouds of mist, beautiful but powerless, dissipating at the first sign of pressure. The drifter sees 100 paths and takes none of them, for his destination is a fog. He mistakes movement for achievement, busyness for progress. He is a ship without a rudder, a magnificent vessel perhaps, but destined only to wander the vast, empty ocean until its resources are spent and it sinks without a trace. Now, look at the 3%. Look at the titans, the builders, the creators. Look at an Andrew Carnegie, who rose from the telegraph rooms to command the steel that would build the modern world. When he met a young Napoleon Hill, he didn't give him a series of tips or tricks. He gave him a charge, a singular, all-consuming mission, to distill the philosophy of success for the common man. That mission became Hill's definite purpose. It was not a job. It was a crusade. It burned in his mind for 2 decades, through poverty and failure, through doubt and ridicule. It was the North Star of his existence, and because of it, he could not fail. Consider Thomas Edison. He didn't just hope to invent a light source. He declared it. He set a definite objective, a safe, reliable, commercially viable electric lamp. He drew a line in the sand of reality and said, "I will cross this." He conducted 10,000 experiments. To the outside world, these were 10,000 failures. But to Edison, they were not failures. They were the process of elimination. Each one was a step that brought him closer to the one way that would work. His purpose was not a vague desire for innovation. It was the specific, unwavering image of a glowing filament held in his mind's eye. That definiteness of purpose was a magnetic force. It pulled resources, attracted talent, and commanded the energy of his team. It turned a humble workshop in Menlo Park into a crucible of creation, a place where the future was being hammered into existence, because one man refused to hold any other vision in his mind. This is the first law of all achievement. Before you can build, you must see. But not a blurry, out-of-focus daydream. You must see it with absolute, crystalline clarity. What is it you want? Not what you think you can get. Not what others say is realistic for you. What is the grand, magnificent obsession of your soul? You must define it. You must write it down. You must burn it into your consciousness until it is no longer a desire, but a command. A command you give to yourself and to the universe. This definiteness is not a sterile, intellectual exercise. It is a white-hot, passionate pursuit. It is the difference between a sparkler and a laser. One throws light in every direction, beautiful but weak, fading in an instant. The other focuses all of its energy into a single, coherent beam, a spear of light that can cut through steel. Your mind, when scattered, is the sparkler. Your mind, when focused by a definite chief aim, becomes the laser. It cuts through obstacles, through fear, through procrastination. It incinerates doubt. The moment you fix upon a definite purpose, something miraculous begins to happen. Your mind, which was once a chaotic marketplace of conflicting thoughts and fears, becomes an orderly, efficient machine. This purpose becomes the chairman of the board in your mind. It dictates the agenda. It decides which thoughts get a seat at the table and which are thrown out of the room. Every book you read, every conversation you have, every idea that drifts into your awareness is now filtered through this purpose. Does this serve the goal? If the answer is yes, your mind seizes it, analyzes it, and files it away as a tool. If the answer is no, it is discarded without a second thought. This is the true meaning of mental discipline. It is not about forcing yourself to endure things you hate. It is about having a purpose so powerful, so compelling, that the things that don't serve it simply fall away. The trivial distractions, the petty dramas, the time-wasting habits, they lose their appeal. They become noise. Your definite purpose creates its own gravity, pulling your habits, your energy, and your focus into its orbit. You stop fighting 1,000 small battles against temptation and distraction because you are consumed with fighting one great war for your dream, and that is a war you will begin to win. This habit of definiteness is the foundation. Without it, all the other principles of success, faith, specialized knowledge, imagination, persistence are like soldiers without a general. They are powerful forces, but they have no direction, no unified strategy. They wander aimlessly on the battlefield of life. But when a definite purpose takes command, it marshals these forces, aligns them, and directs them toward a single point of attack. Your mind becomes an army on the march, and the world has a way of clearing a path for a person who knows where they are going. So, ask yourself now, with brutal honesty, are you a drifter or are you a creator? Is your life a series of accidents, or is it a masterpiece under construction? The answer lies in the clarity of your vision. What is your definite chief aim? Name it, define it, see it, feel it, breathe it. Let it become the very fabric of your being. Because the chasm between the life you have and the life you desire is not bridged by hope. It is bridged by the unyielding, unbreakable, steel-enforced habit of a definite, major purpose. This is the starting point of all riches, both material and spiritual. It is the first command you must give to your subconscious mind, the engine of creation that lies sleeping within you, waiting for its orders. It is waiting for you to stop whispering what you want and start declaring what you will have. This declaration is not an act of arrogance. It is an act of faith. It is the highest form of partnership with the infinite intelligence that animates all things. When you define your purpose, you are carving out a space in the universe for your dream to manifest. You are sending a clear, unambiguous signal into the ether, a signal that says, I am ready, I am focused, I am prepared to do whatever it takes. This clarity acts as a beacon. Opportunities that were invisible to you before will suddenly appear on your radar. People who hold the keys to your progress will feel an inexplicable pull to connect with you. Ideas will flash into your mind at the oddest moments, in the shower, on a walk, as if delivered by a celestial messenger. This is not magic, though it feels like it. It is the law of attraction in its purest, most potent form. Like attracts like. A definite, focused mind attracts definite, focused results. A scattered, uncertain mind attracts scattered, uncertain outcomes. The law is perfect. Think of Henry Ford. He was not just a man who wanted to build cars. He was possessed by a definite purpose, to build a motor car for the great multitude. It had to be affordable, reliable, and simple to operate. He didn't just want to build a car, he wanted to build that car. The Model T. This vision was so clear, so definite, that it became his obsession. When his engineers told him it was impossible to cast a V8 engine block in a single piece, he did not adjust his vision. He simply said, produce it anyway. He gave them a command, rooted in his definite purpose. They told him it was impossible. He told them to stay on the job until they succeeded, no matter how much time it required. For months they toiled, trying every conceivable plan to carry out the orders, but the answer was always the same. It could not be done. Finally, as the story goes, the secret was discovered, as if by magic. The secret was persistence, fueled by a purpose so definite that the word impossible was rendered meaningless. Ford did not know how it would be done, but he knew with absolute certainty that it would be done. His definiteness of purpose forced a solution into existence. This is what separates the dreamer from the achiever. The dreamer says, I would like to have $1 million. The achiever says, I will render a specific service or deliver a specific product in exchange for $1 million, and I will have that sum in my possession by a definite date. Here is my plan to do so. The first is a wish. The second is a declaration of intent. It is a contract with oneself. The universe does not respond to beggars. It responds to creators who issue clear commands. The moment you make your purpose this specific, you engage a different part of your brain. You move from the realm of fantasy into the realm of strategy. Your mind begins to work on the how, because the what and the why are no longer in question. This habit of mind must be cultivated relentlessly. The world will constantly try to pull you back into the fog. Friends, family, the news, your own old habits of thinking, they will all conspire to make your purpose seem vague and unrealistic. Again, they will sow seeds of doubt. Are you sure that's possible? What if you fail? Maybe you should be more practical. This is the test. Every day, you must renew your purpose. You must begin your day by rereading the written statement of your definite chief aim. You must visualize its attainment with feeling and emotion. You must see yourself already in possession of your goal. You must feel the gratitude you will feel when it arrives. This is not self-deception. It is the process of impressing your conscious command upon your subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind does not reason. It does not debate. It accepts the commands you give it as absolute truth, especially those commands that are mixed with strong emotion. When you repeatedly feed it the vision of your definite purpose, charged with the faith that it is achievable, your subconscious goes to work. It operates 24 hours a day, connecting you with ideas, people, and circumstances that align with your dominant thought. It will wake you in the night with a solution to a problem you've been wrestling with. It will guide your intuition, giving you a hunch to make a certain phone call or take a certain meeting. This is the great secret of the ages. The giants of history were not giants because of their intellect alone, but because they learned how to command this silent, unseen partner to do their bidding. They made it a habit to stand guard at the gate of their conscious mind, allowing only thoughts of their purpose, of faith, of courage, and of abundance to enter, knowing that whatever the conscious mind dwelled upon, the subconscious would dutifully create in the physical world. Therefore, the first battle is always internal. It is the battle for control of your own thoughts. To create riches in your life, you must first create them in your consciousness. You must build the habit of thinking from your goal, not toward it. This is a subtle but profound shift. Thinking toward your goal implies distance and separation. It keeps the goal in the future. Thinking from your goal means you mentally inhabit the reality you wish to create. You ask yourself, how would the person who has already achieved this think? How would they act? What decisions would they make today? And you begin to think and act from that state of being. You align your present self with your future reality. You close the gap. This is why definiteness is the master key. It gives you a specific state of being to inhabit. Without a clear picture of the destination, you cannot think from it. You are lost. But with a definite purpose, you have a blueprint for your new self. You can begin to build that self, thought by thought, action by action. You become an actor, playing the part of your most successful self, but you play it with such conviction and persistence that the role becomes your reality. This is the alchemy of achievement. It is the science of personal transformation. It begins not with a grand external action, but with the quiet, disciplined, internal habit of holding a definite purpose, unwavering and absolute, in the theater of your mind. This habit must become your new nature. It must be practiced not as a task, but as a form of breathing. When you wake, your purpose should be the first thought to greet you. As you move through your day, it should be the silent compass, guiding every decision. When you face a challenge, a setback, a moment of doubt, you do not retreat into the fog of uncertainty. You retreat to the fortress of your purpose. You reread your statement. You reconnect with the why. You remember the feeling of its inevitable accomplishment. This is not positive thinking. This is directed thinking. It is the focused application of mental force. A river may encounter a boulder, but it does not turn back. It simply flows around it, over it, or through it, its purpose unwavering. To reach the sea, your purpose must be your river, relentless and patient, constantly moving in one direction. The world is filled with brilliant failures. Men and women of extraordinary talent and intellect who accomplish nothing of significance. Why? Because their brilliance is scattered. They are a library of unwritten books, a gallery of unpainted masterpieces. They possess the tools, but they lack the one thing that gives them meaning, a definite plan, a singular, driving purpose. They dabble in this, they try that. They are a jack of all trades and a master of none, but most tragically, they are the master of none of their own potential. Their energy is dissipated across a dozen trivial pursuits, and the result is a life of quiet desperation, of wondering what if. Do not let this be your story. Choose your battlefield. Decide what you will be the master of. Let the rest go. The art of living is as much about what you ignore as what you pursue. A definite purpose gives you the wisdom to say no. You say no to the distractions, no to the requests that pull you off course, no to the opportunities that, while good, are not the main thing. This ability to say no is a superpower. It conserves your most precious resources, your time, your energy, and your mental focus. The masses say yes to everything, and in doing so, they say yes to nothing. Their lives are a cluttered mess of half-finished projects and broken commitments. The master, the creator, the wealthy mind, says no to almost everything, so that they can give a resounding, earth-shaking yes to the one thing that matters. Think of the great investor, Warren Buffett. His strategy is legendary for its simplicity. He operates within what he calls his circle of competence. He focuses only on businesses he can understand, and he waits within human patience for the perfect opportunity within that circle. He says no to thousands of tantalizing investments. He ignores the noise of the market, the trends, the hot tips. He has a definite purpose to invest in wonderful businesses at fair prices, and he does not deviate from it. This discipline, this unwavering focus is the bedrock of his monumental success. It is not complex. It is definite. Your life is your greatest investment. Your mind is your greatest asset. Are you investing it with a definite purpose, or are you squandering it on speculative whims? The choice is yours, and it is made in every moment, with every thought you choose to entertain. The habit that separates the rich from the rest is this: the rich have decided, with absolute finality, what they want. They have committed it to writing. They have a plan. They are relentlessly focused on that plan. They have made their purpose the ruling king of their mind, and all other thoughts are its loyal subjects. The rest of the world is living in a mental democracy where every fleeting desire and every passing fear gets an equal vote. The result is chaos and paralysis. Choose your form of mental government. Will it be a chaotic democracy, or will it be a benevolent monarchy, ruled by the noble and definite purpose you have chosen for your life? Begin today, not tomorrow. not next week, today. Take out a sheet of paper. At the top write, my definite, chief aim, and then, write down a clear, concise statement of exactly what you intend to accomplish. Be specific. Use numbers, set a deadline. A goal without a deadline is merely a dream. A deadline transforms it into a target. It creates a sense of urgency and accountability. Next, write down what you intend to give in return for what you desire. The law of compensation is absolute. There is no such thing as something for nothing. What service will you render? What value will you create? What specialized knowledge will you develop and apply? This is not about what you will give up, but what you will give forth. Finally, write down a clear plan of action. What is the very first step you can take, right now, to move toward your goal? It does not have to be a giant leap, a single phone call, an hour of research, writing the first paragraph. The size of the step does not matter. What matters is that you take it. Action is the physical expression of faith. It proves to yourself and to the universe that you are serious. Once you have this written statement, this contract with your future self, you must read it aloud twice daily, once when you wake up and once before you go to sleep. As you read it, see, feel, and believe yourself already in possession of your goal. Feel the gratitude in advance. This is the critical step. This is how you saturate your subconscious mind with the blueprint of your new reality. It is how you program the machine. At first, it may feel awkward. Your old, doubtful self will whisper that it is foolish. Ignore that voice. That is the voice of the drifter you are leaving behind. Persist. With repetition, the feeling will become more natural. The belief will grow. What was once a fragile seed of an idea will begin to grow deep, powerful roots in the soil of your mind. This is the work. It is not glamorous. It will not be applauded by others, because it is done in the silence of your own mind. But this silent, daily habit of aligning your thoughts with your definite purpose is the most important work you will ever do. It is the unseen cause that produces the seen effect. Riches, in all their forms, are not attracted. They are created, and they are created first in the imagination, on the drawing board of a mind that has been disciplined by a definite purpose. While the world is distracted, you will be focused. While the world is wishing, you will be planning. While the world is waiting to be told what to do, you will be executing the commands you have given to yourself. This is the habit. This is the path. This is the dividing line between the life that happens to you and the life you design. That piece of paper is not just paper. It is a sacred text. It is the constitution of your new life. It must be treated with reverence. It is your declaration of independence from the tyranny of circumstance. Abraham Lincoln did not walk into the Civil War with the vague hope of keeping the country together. He had a definite, unwavering purpose to preserve the Union. That singular, powerful aim was the moral and strategic anchor that held the nation together through its darkest hours. It gave meaning to the sacrifice, focus to the strategy, and resolve to the leadership. In your own life, you are fighting a civil war. It is a war between the person you are and the person you were born to be, the person you could be. Your definite purpose is the standard you raise, the flag you fight for. Without it, your forces are divided, and a house divided against itself cannot stand. Do not be discouraged if your plan is not perfect at first. A bad plan is better than no plan at all. George Washington lost more battles than he won in the early years of the American Revolution. His plans were often flawed, his resources scarce, but his purpose was definite: independence. He adapted his plans, he learned from his mistakes. He persisted through the brutal winter at Valley Forge, but he never, ever lost sight of the definite objective. You can change your plan as you go. You can and you must be flexible in your strategy, but your purpose must be as fixed as the North Star. The plan is the roadmap, but the purpose is the destination. You may need to take detours, you may encounter roadblocks, you may have to build new roads, but you always know where you are going. This is the key to adaptability and resilience. You are not brittle. You do not break when your first plan fails. Because your commitment is not to the plan, it is to the purpose. This is why so many people give up. They fall in love with their first plan, and when that plan hits an obstacle, they conclude that the goal is impossible. They mistake the failure of the vehicle for the impossibility of the destination. The master of achievement knows that plans are expendable, they are tools. If a hammer doesn't work, you don't abandon the project. You get a different hammer, you get a saw, you get a drill. You invent a new tool if you have to. Your mind, when fired by a definite purpose, becomes an invention factory. It will create the plans you need, as you need them. Your job is to hold the vision. Gratitude is the fuel for this process. It is the emotional signature of creation. When you practice feeling grateful for your goal as if it has already been achieved, you are generating the magnetic frequency that pulls it toward you. Gratitude is the language of the universe. It is an affirmation that you believe in the creative law, that you trust the process, It is the opposite of desperation and neediness, which are emotions of lack that repel the very things you desire. A person who is constantly begging the universe for help is broadcasting a signal of powerlessness. A person who is giving thanks in advance for their success is broadcasting a signal of faith and certainty. Which signal do you think is more powerful? Which frequency do you think success resonates with? Combine your definite purpose with a burning desire. A desire is not a simple want. It is a white-hot, throbbing, all-consuming obsession. It is the kind of desire that knows no defeat, that accepts no reality but its own fulfillment. Napoleon Hill wrote that a burning desire is the starting point of all accomplishment. Just as a small fire cannot give much heat, a weak desire cannot produce great results. You must fan the flames of your desire until it becomes a raging furnace. How? By constantly focusing on your definite purpose. By listing all the reasons why you must achieve it. What will it mean for you, for your family, for the world? What positive changes will it bring? Connect your purpose to your deepest values, to your love, to your legacy. This emotional fuel transforms a simple goal into a heroic quest. Every night, as you review your purpose, ask yourself, what have I done today to move closer to my objective? This simple act of self-accountability is vital. It keeps you honest. It prevents the drift. It ensures that you are not just dreaming, but are actively engaged in the process of building. And then ask, what will I do tomorrow? This sets your intention for the next day, priming your subconscious mind to look for opportunities and solutions while you sleep. You are programming your mind to be your ally, to be a goal-seeking mechanism that is always at work for you. Remember this, the universe rewards action, but it reveres decision. The moment you make a true decision, which comes from the Latin root, meaning to cut off, you cut off all other possibilities. You burn the ships. There is no retreat. It is victory or death. When you bring this level of commitment to your definite purpose, you unleash forces within you and around you that you never knew existed. Your personal power multiplies. Your resolve hardens into steel. You become an irresistible force, moving toward an immovable object. And when an irresistible force meets an immovable object, it is the object that gives way. Your circumstances, your limitations, your past failures, they are the object. Your definite purpose, backed by burning desire and unshakable faith, is the irresistible force. You are that force. It is time to stop asking for permission and start issuing commands. It is time to stop hoping for a different future and start architecting it, one definite thought at a time. This is the work. This is the habit. This is the beginning of everything. And so, you have made the decision. You have drawn the line. You have issued the command. But a command whispered in a moment of inspiration can be drowned out by a lifetime of doubt. A decision is a seed. For it to grow into a mighty oak that can withstand the storms of reality, it must be planted in fertile soil and watered daily. That soil, that water, is the unwavering, stubborn, and magnificent power of belief. Belief is the chemistry of the soul that transforms the intangible thought form of your purpose into its physical equivalent. It is the bridge of fire that spans the canyon between imagination and reality. Without it, your definite purpose is just a beautiful idea, a ship in a bottle perfect in its form, but going nowhere. With belief, that ship is launched into the vast ocean of potential, its sails filled with the winds of infinite intelligence. Do not mistake belief for hope. Hope is passive. It waits. Belief is active. It acts. Hope says, I wish this would happen. Belief says, I will make this happen, because its accomplishment is already a settled fact in my mind. This is the faith that Napoleon Hill spoke of. A state of mind you must cultivate with the same discipline you use to build a muscle. It does not come by accident. It is the result of a deliberate, persistent habit of thought. It is forged in the furnace of auto-suggestion. Every time you read your written statement of purpose, every time you close your eyes and visualize your goal is already complete, you are performing a sacred ritual. You are sending a clear message from your conscious, reasoning mind to the silent, sleeping giant within you, your subconscious. This subconscious mind is your direct link to the universal storehouse of power. It is the soil in which the seeds of your thoughts grow. It does not argue. It does not question your orders. Its only function is to accept the blueprint you give it and begin, immediately, to work on its construction, using the subtle and unseen forces at its command. The problem is, for your entire life, you have been feeding this fertile ground with seeds of doubt, fear, and limitation, planted there by well-meaning but ignorant people, by a society that glorifies the average, and by your own past failures. Your subconscious has been dutifully growing a garden of weeds. Now, you must become a master gardener. The act of reading your purpose, infused with emotion and faith, is the act of planting new seeds, seeds of wealth, of achievement, of health, of mastery. And the act of guarding your thoughts throughout the day is the act of pulling the weeds. When the thought of failure appears, you must consciously replace it with the thought of your purpose. When the feeling of fear creeps in, you must summon the feeling of courage that comes from the certainty of your success. This is a war, fought not on a battlefield of dirt and blood, but on the silent, interior battlefield of your own mind. Every thought of doubt you refuse to entertain. Every fearful image you banish and replace with a vision of faith that is a battle won. And with each victory, your belief grows stronger. The muscle becomes more powerful. Think of Walt Disney. The man was a testament to the power of belief in the face of universal ridicule. When he conceived of a feature-length animated film, Snow White, the entire industry called it Disney's folly. They said no adult would sit through a cartoon fairy tale. His financial backers abandoned him. He had to mortgage his own house. The world screamed impossible at him from every direction. Where did he find the strength to continue? It was not in the evidence around him. The evidence was damning. His strength came from the unwavering belief he had in his definite purpose. He could see the families in the theater. He could hear their laughter and their tears. He had already lived the success in his own mind so vividly, so completely, that the criticism of the outside world seemed like a faint, irrelevant noise. His belief was not a hope. It was a memory of the future. He held on to that inner reality so tightly that it had no choice but to manifest in the outer world, creating an empire that would redefine entertainment and touch the hearts of billions. This is the kind of faith you must develop. It is a faith that is deaf to no, a faith that is blind to failure. It treats every obstacle not as a barrier, but as a hurdle. It sees every setback not as a dead end, but as a necessary detour on the path to an inevitable victory. This faith is your shield. It protects you from the most insidious poison known to humanity. The fear of criticism. People will laugh at your grand ambition. They will call you a dreamer. They will tell you to be realistic. They project their own fears and limitations onto you. Your faith deflects their words. You learn to smile, to thank them for their concern, and to turn back to the silent work of building your empire in your mind. And what of the fear of failure? Faith consumes it, because in a mind governed by a definite purpose and absolute belief, there is no such thing as failure. There are only results. There is only feedback. Just as Edison knew that each of his 10,000 non-working filaments was a step toward the light bulb, you must know that every plan that doesn't work, every strategy that falls short, is simply clearing the path for the one that will. You learn, you adapt, you persist, but you do not fail, because your destination is a fixed point. Failure can only exist if you quit. And a person with true belief in their purpose is incapable of quitting. It would be like quitting breathing. This cultivated belief, this unshakable faith, creates a powerful vibration, a mental aura that people can feel. It is the source of charisma. It is the quiet confidence that inspires trust. When you believe in yourself and your vision with every fiber of your being, others have no choice but to believe in you as well. It will attract the right partners, the right mentors, the right employees. They will be drawn to the certainty that radiates from you, because it is a port in the storm of their own uncertainty. But faith, as powerful as it is, needs a framework to operate within. It needs intelligence. This brings us to the next layer of the habit of the rich, the relentless acquisition of specialized knowledge. Your definite purpose is the what. Your faith is the why and the certainty. Your specialized knowledge is the how. A burning desire to be a master surgeon is useless without the specialized knowledge of anatomy and surgical procedure. A definite purpose to build a revolutionary software company is an empty dream without the specialized knowledge of coding, marketing, and business management. General knowledge, the kind taught in schools, is of little use in the accumulation of wealth. It is like having a garage full of raw materials, wood, metal, plastic, but no blueprint and no tools. The world is full of educated derelicts, people who have memorized facts and figures but do not know how to organize that information into a definite plan of action. Specialized knowledge is different. It is knowledge that is organized and intelligently directed, through practical plans of action, to the definite end of your purpose. It is not about how much you know. It is about knowing what you need to know, how to acquire that knowledge, and how to apply it. The great secret here is that you do not need to possess all of this knowledge in your own mind. This was the lesson Henry Ford taught the world when he sued a Chicago newspaper for calling him an ignorant pacifist. To prove his point, the newspaper's lawyers put him on the witness stand, asking him a barrage of obscure general knowledge questions to embarrass him and show his ignorance. They asked him who Benedict Arnold was, and the specifics of the Revolutionary War. Finally, growing tired of the charade, Ford pointed a finger at the questioning lawyer and replied, "If I should really want to answer the foolish question you have just asked, or any of the other questions you have been asking me, let me remind you that I have a row of electric push buttons on my desk, and by pushing the right button, I can summon to my aid men who can answer any question I desire, to ask concerning the business to which I am devoting most of my efforts. Now, will you kindly tell me why I should clutter my mind with general knowledge, for the purpose of being able to answer questions, when I have men around me who can supply any knowledge I require?" Every person in that courtroom was silenced. They realized in that moment that they were in the presence of not just an educated man, but an organized man. Ford understood a fundamental truth. The truly educated person is the one who knows how to acquire knowledge when they need it, and how to organize that knowledge into a definite plan. This is the principle of the mastermind. Your journey to your definite purpose will require knowledge you do not currently possess. This is a given. The habit of the successful mind is to identify that required knowledge and then determine the most efficient way to get it. Can you learn it yourself? Through courses, books, or mentorship? Or can you form a mastermind alliance, a group of individuals with the skills and knowledge you lack, all working in a spirit of perfect harmony toward your definite purpose? Andrew Carnegie knew next to nothing about the technical process of making steel, but he knew everything about how to assemble a mastermind of men who did. His genius was not in metal, it was in his ability to select, organize, and motivate men who possessed the specialized knowledge he needed. Your learning, therefore, must never stop, but it must be focused. It must be purposeful. A mind committed to a definite purpose is a mind that is perpetually hungry for the specialized knowledge that will serve that purpose. It reads, not for entertainment, but for applicable ideas. It attends seminars not for a temporary boost of motivation, but to acquire a specific skill. It seeks out mentors not for idle conversation, but to learn from their experience and avoid their mistakes. The school of life is always in session for those who are serious. Your diploma is the accomplishment of your definite chief aim. Everything until then is simply your coursework. So, become a perpetual student, not of generalities, but of the specific, specialized knowledge that paves the road to your destination. This dedicated, focused learning, combined with the unwavering belief in your purpose, makes you not just a dreamer, but a force of nature, an intelligent, organized, and unstoppable creator. You have committed to your purpose. You are nurturing the soil of your mind with unwavering belief. You have become a relentless seeker of the specialized knowledge that will serve as the timber and steel for your empire. But raw material, no matter how abundant or high quality, does not assemble itself into a skyscraper. There must be an architect. There must be a blueprint. This architect, this creator of plans, is the most miraculous, powerful, and misunderstood faculty of your mind, your imagination. Your imagination is the workshop of your soul. It is here, and only here, that your burning desire and your definite purpose can be combined with specialized knowledge to form the plans that will bring your vision to life. It is the crucible where the formless energy of thought is given shape and structure. Mankind has achieved nothing that was not first created in the workshop of the imagination. This faculty operates in two forms. The first is synthetic imagination. This is the faculty you will use most often. It does not create anything entirely new. Instead, it takes existing concepts, ideas, plans, and knowledge, and arranges them into new combinations. This is where you will do the bulk of your planning. You will take the knowledge you have acquired, the experiences you have lived, the ideas you have borrowed from others, and you will synthesize them into a step-by-step strategy. The inventor who combines two known principles to create a new machine is using synthetic imagination. The entrepreneur who adopts a successful business model from one industry and applies it to another is using synthetic imagination. It is logical, it is practical, and it is the workhorse of creation. This is where you will build your first plan, and your second, and your third. But then, there is the second form, the one that connects you to genius. It is the creative imagination. This is the faculty that serves as the direct link between your finite mind and infinite intelligence. It is the receiving set through which you receive fundamental and new ideas, hunches, inspirations, and flashes of insight. This is the source of all true creation. It is the still, small voice that guides you. It is the muse that inspires the artist, the vision that guides the inventor. It is the faculty that gave Nikola Tesla the complete vision for the alternating current motor, fully formed and operational, in a flash of insight as he walked through a park. He didn't reason his way to it, it was given to him. This higher faculty, however, cannot be controlled in the same way as the synthetic imagination. It functions only when your conscious mind is vibrating at an exceptionally high rate. And what causes the mind to vibrate at this level? A burning desire, a definite purpose, unshakable faith, and persistent action. When you are totally consumed by your quest, when your mind is cleared of fear and doubt and focused singularly on your purpose, you create the conditions for the creative imagination to deliver its treasures. It is the reward for your discipline. It is the universe meeting you halfway. Your job is to do the work with your synthetic imagination, to gather the knowledge, to make the plans, to take the action, and, in doing so, you tune your mind to the frequency where genius can find you. And so, with your knowledge gathered and your imagination firing, you must create your organized plan. This is not a suggestion. It is a requirement. Your dream, no matter how grand, is a fleeting fantasy until it is anchored to a practical, workable plan of action. A plan is the bridge between your thoughts and your results. It is the written instructions you give to yourself and your mastermind group. It must be detailed, it must be logical, and it must be the product of your absolute best effort. But here is the secret that separates the masters from the masses. the one that forges resilience and makes persistence possible. You must enter into this process with the absolute understanding that your first plan will almost certainly not work. Let that sink in. The first blueprint you draw will have flaws. The first bridge you build will have weaknesses. This is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that you have begun. This is the point where 99 out of 100 people quit. They create a plan, they launch it with enthusiasm, and at the first sign of resistance, the first unexpected obstacle, the first temporary defeat, they collapse. They throw up their hands and cry, "It's impossible. The plan failed." They have made the catastrophic error of confusing the failure of their plan with the failure of their purpose. The purpose is sacred and immovable. The plan is a tool, and it is expendable. If the tool breaks, you do not abandon the mission. You build a better tool. This is the entire game. Thomas Edison did not have one plan to create the light bulb. He had 10,000 plans that did not work, each one teaching him something that informed the next, better plan. Sir James Dyson, driven by the definite purpose of creating a vacuum that would not lose suction, built 5,126 failed prototypes, 5,126 failed plans. But he was not failing. He was learning. He was gathering feedback. He was refining his strategy with each iteration. His purpose was fixed. His belief was absolute. Therefore, each failed plan was simply a stepping stone. This is the mindset you must adopt. When temporary defeat comes in, it will come. You must meet it, not with despair, but with a detached, analytical curiosity. You must see it as a gift of feedback from the universe, pointing out the weaknesses in your strategy. You take that feedback, you return to the workshop of your imagination, you consult with your mastermind, and you create a new, better, more intelligent plan. And you launch it. And if it fails, you do it again, and again, and again. This, my friend, is the essence of persistence. It is not blind, stubborn repetition. It is intelligent, informed, relentless adaptation in the service of a non-negotiable purpose. A great plan, however, is useless without the will to execute it. This requires another habit of the wealthy mind, the habit of decisive action. The world is filled with brilliant planners who are destitute. Their desk drawers are graveyards of magnificent, world-changing plans that were never acted upon. Why? Because they suffer from the paralysis of indecision. Analysis of thousands of the most successful people in history revealed they all shared a common habit. They made decisions very promptly, and they changed those decisions very slowly. All analysis of thousands of failures revealed the opposite. They made decisions very slowly, if at all, and they changed them frequently and quickly. Decisiveness is a habit of courage. It is born from having a definite purpose and confidence in your own judgment. When you know what you want, the what-ifs and maybes lose their power over you. You gather the facts, you consult your intuition, you make a decision, and you move. You understand that a flawed decision acted upon is infinitely better than a perfect decision that is never made. The action itself will generate new feedback, new data, that will allow you to correct. You cannot steer a parked car. You must be in motion. Those who are indecisive are broadcasting their fear to the world. They are waiting for a guarantee. They are waiting for everyone to agree. They are waiting for the perfect time. There are no guarantees. There will never be universal agreement. The perfect time is a myth. The only time you have is now, and the most powerful thing you can do with it is make a decision. Farm this into your mind. Every moment you spend in indecision, you are being controlled by your fear. You are allowing the ghost of failure to sit on the throne of your life. When you make a firm decision, you dethrone fear and enthrone purpose. You take back control. You become the cause, not the effect. You become the driver, not the passenger. So, look at your plan. What is the first, immediate, logical step? Do not think about step 10. Do not worry about step 100. What is step 1? Make the decision to take it, and then take it. Today, now that one act of decisive movement will break the spell of inertia. It will send a ripple of power through your being. It will prove to your own subconscious mind that you are serious. It is the first turn of the key in the ignition. The engine will roar to life, and the journey, the real journey of creation, will have finally begun. Your imagination has provided the map. Your plan is the vehicle, but your decisive action is the fuel that moves you down the road toward your inevitable destination. The engine is running. Your decision has turned the key, and the first jolt of action has moved you from the starting line. But a single burst of acceleration does not win the race. The journey from where you are to where you are going is not a sprint across a manicured track. It is a grueling cross-country marathon through treacherous and uncharted territory. The fuel for this journey, the force that will carry you over mountains of adversity and through deserts of despair, is the quiet, unglamorous, and utterly invincible power of persistence. Persistence is willpower made manifest. It is the iron cord in your character that refuses to snap. It is the difference between a passing interest and a burning obsession. It is the single quality that, more than any other, guarantees your eventual success. The universe is filled with talented failures, with educated fools, with brilliant but broke dreamers. They had everything needed to succeed except the one thing that mattered. They did not endure. Persistence is the great equalizer. It will compensate for a lack of genius, a lack of resources, a lack of privilege. With enough persistence, the turtle will always beat the hare. Do not mistake persistence for blind mule-headed stubbornness. To simply repeat the same failed action over and over is insanity. True persistence is the sustained courage to continue forward while intelligently adapting your plan. It is the child of a powerful union. It is born when your willpower marries your definite purpose. Without a clear purpose, persistence is impossible. You cannot sustain a difficult journey if you are not certain of your destination. Without willpower, your purpose is just a pleasant dream. It is the disciplined fusion of the two that creates this unstoppable force. Look at the anatomy of this power. It is fed by the very principles we have established. It is fueled by the burning desire for your goal, which makes the sacrifice feel not like a burden, but a privilege. It is strengthened by self-reliance, a deep, cultivated belief in your ability to meet any challenge. It is guided by a definite plan, which gives your effort direction and prevents you from wasting energy. It is informed by accurate knowledge, which assures you that your plan is sound, and it is sustained by the cooperation of your mastermind, the encouragement of those who march beside you. Persistence is not a solitary virtue. It is the capstone of a well-built character. Treat persistence as the signature on your contract. With life, when you set a definite purpose, you are presenting a proposal to the universe. You are saying, "This is what I will achieve, and this is what I will give in return." And the universe, like a wise and discerning investor, has a way of testing the sincerity of your intent. It will throw obstacles in your path. It will send critics to mock you. It will create delays that test your patience. It will allow you to experience temporary defeat to see if your spirit is brittle. These are not punishments. They are tests. The test is always the same. How badly do you really want this? Are you truly committed, or are you merely interested? Persistence is your answer. Every day you get up and fight again, you are shouting back at the heavens, "I am not interested. I am committed, and I will not be denied." History's great figures are all monuments to this principle. Think of Abraham Lincoln. His life before the presidency was a relentless parade of what the world calls failure. He failed in business. He was defeated in his first run for the state legislature. He lost the woman he loved. He suffered a nervous breakdown. He was defeated for Congress. He was defeated for the Senate. He was defeated for the vice presidency. After 2 decades of public life, he was, by all objective measures, a man who had accomplished nothing of note. But his definite purpose to serve, to lead, to shape the destiny of his nation, was a fire that could not be extinguished. Each defeat was not an endpoint. It was an education. Each failure tempered his resolve, deepened his humility, and sharpened his wisdom. His persistence was not loud or flashy. It was a quiet, deep, and unyielding river, flowing steadily toward its destination. And when the nation faced its gravest crisis, that river had carved a man ready to lead it. His entire life was a testament to the fact that past defeat is utterly irrelevant when confronted with present persistence. This power is a habit you must cultivate. It is a muscle that grows stronger with use. The first time you push past a point of resistance, it is agonizing. Your mind screams for you to quit, to seek comfort, to retreat to the familiar. But if you force yourself forward with sheer, raw willpower, something miraculous happens. You break through. And on the other side of that pain is a new level of strength and self-respect. You have proven to yourself that you are stronger than your excuses. The next time you face a wall, it will seem just a little bit smaller. You have created a new habit loop. The trigger is adversity. The routine is to push forward, and the reward is the growth and the progress. Eventually, your default programming shifts. When difficulty arises, your first thought is no longer, "This is a sign to stop," but rather, "This is a challenge to overcome." You begin to welcome the tests, knowing that each one you pass forges you into a more formidable creator. Beware of the whispers of your own mind and the minds of others that will try to sabotage your persistence. They will come disguised as reason and common sense. They will say, "You've tried hard enough. It's not meant to be." They will say, "You're sacrificing too much. It's time to be realistic." They will point to your lack of immediate results as evidence that your plan is flawed. This is the siren song of mediocrity. It is the anthem of the drifter. You must learn to recognize it as the voice of your own weakness, the voice of the person you are leaving behind. Acknowledge it and then dismiss it. Turn your focus back to your definite purpose and take the next step. The story of the prospector who stopped digging just 3 feet from the largest gold strike in history is not a myth. It is the life story of millions of people. They start with enthusiasm. They dig and they toil. But the work is hard, and the ground is resistant. They see no immediate sign of gold, so they conclude there is no gold to be found. They lay down their tools and walk away, defeated. never knowing that everything they ever desired lay just beyond the thin veil of their own discouragement. The riches were there. The plan was sound. They simply lacked the persistence to see it through. They gave up one swing of the pickaxe too soon. Let that image burn into your mind. When you feel like quitting, when you are exhausted, when the world tells you that you have failed, picture yourself standing 3 feet from gold, and take one more swing, and then one more. Persistence is simply the habit of taking one more swing than your doubt says you can. It is the final insurance policy on your success. It is the silent, dogged, relentless force that grinds mountains into dust and carves canyons through the bedrock of impossibility. It is the habit that, when all else fails, will carry you across the finish line. You have forged your will into a tool of relentless persistence. You have learned to stand alone against the storms of doubt and the gales of temporary defeat. This individual resolve is the bedrock of your character, the engine of your personal power. But the laws of achievement, like the laws of physics, contain secrets of leverage, of multiplication, of exponential growth. The greatest achievers in history, while paragons of self-reliance, understood a profound truth. No mind is complete on its own. The next habit, the next layer of power, requires you to move beyond the limits of your own skull and harness a force of almost unimaginable potential. You must learn to architect and command the power of the mastermind. A mastermind is not a committee. It is not a networking group. It is a symphony of coordinated power. Napoleon Hill defined it with scientific precision: the coordination of knowledge and effort between 2 or more people in a spirit of harmony for the attainment of a definite purpose. Within that definition lie the keys to the kingdom. A group of people without a definite purpose is just a mob. A group of people without a spirit of harmony is just a debate team. But when you fuse 2 or more minds together, all focused on the same clear objective and all operating in absolute, frictionless harmony, something that borders on the miraculous occurs. A third mind is created. This third mind, this invisible psychic entity, is the true source of the mastermind's power. Just as an alloy of steel is infinitely stronger than its constituent parts of iron and carbon, the blending of harmonious minds creates a spiritual and mental alloy of immense strength. This third mind has a direct connection to the forces of infinite intelligence, to the wellspring of creative imagination. It is through this channel that solutions to seemingly impossible problems are revealed. It is in the energetic space of this third mind that hunches are sharpened into certainty and new, brilliant ideas are born. Ideas that no single member of the group could have conceived of alone. The titans who built the modern world knew this secret. Henry Ford, whose individual persistence was legendary, did not operate in a vacuum. He was part of a powerful mastermind alliance with Thomas Edison, the master inventor, Harvey Firestone, the tire magnate, and the great naturalist, John Burroughs. Their famous camping trips were not just leisurely retreats, they were deep, strategic mastermind sessions. In the quiet of the wilderness, these great minds would focus their collective power on each other's greatest challenges, lending their unique perspectives and creating a torrent of creative energy. They returned from these trips not just rested, but armed, equipped with solutions and a renewed sense of power that came from their unity. Andrew Carnegie attributed his entire fortune to this principle. He surrounded himself with a carefully selected mastermind group of 50 men experts in finance, manufacturing, logistics, and sales. He was the conductor, but they were the virtuoso musicians. He once said, "Take away my people, but leave my factories, and soon grass will grow on the factory floors. Take away my factories, but leave my people, and soon we will have a new and better factory." He understood that his power was not in his personal knowledge of steel, but in his ability to select, harmonize, and direct the collective knowledge of his team toward his one definite chief aim: the complete domination of the steel industry. How do you build this powerhouse for yourself? The process requires the same deliberate care as a master architect designing a cathedral. First, you must select your members with extreme prejudice. You are seeking not just talent, but harmony. Look for those whose knowledge and experience complement your own. Look for those who are positive, dependable, and absolutely committed to their own success and yours. Above all, look for character. One negative, cynical, or untrustworthy mind in the group will act as a poison, dissolving the delicate chemistry of harmony and rendering the entire alliance useless. Guard the gates of your mastermind as you would guard the gates of a sacred temple. Second, you must establish and maintain a spirit of perfect harmony. This is the most critical and the most fragile component. It demands that every member subordinate their ego for the good of the group and its definite purpose. There can be no room for jealousy, envy, or internal competition. There must be absolute trust, radical candor, and unwavering mutual respect. Before every meeting, every member should consciously leave their ego at the door and enter with a spirit of open-minded contribution. The moment harmony is broken, the third mind vanishes. Third, the principle is built on reciprocity. You cannot enter a mastermind with the sole intention of taking. Your primary focus must be on what you can give. you must be willing to apply the full force of your own mind, your knowledge, and your creative energy to helping the other members solve their problems. In this generous contribution, you activate the law of compensation. The value you give will be returned to you, multiplied. Finally, the mastermind must meet regularly and operate with a definite agenda. Momentum is crucial. Regular structured meetings ensure that the group stays focused, that problems are addressed systematically, and that every member is held accountable for their commitments. Without this structure, the group's energy will dissipate. When you harness this principle correctly, it becomes a powerful amplifier for all the other habits of success. Your belief is amplified because you have others who see your vision and believe in it with you. Your specialized knowledge is multiplied by the collective knowledge of the group. Your imagination is supercharged by the infusion of new perspectives, and most importantly, your persistence is fortified. When your own willpower begins to wane, when you are exhausted and tempted to quit, the collective will of your master mind will carry you. They will remind you of your purpose. They will reignite your desire. They will lend you their strength in your moment of weakness. It is the ultimate accountability system and the ultimate support network. Stop thinking of yourself as a lone wolf, battling against the world. The lone wolf may be strong, but the coordinated pack is unstoppable. The great work of your life is too important to be entrusted to a single mind, even your own. You must make the habit of seeking out, creating, and contributing to a powerful alliance. Become an architect of genius. Build your mastermind and you will build an empire. You have assembled the arsenal of the gods. A definite purpose as your North Star, unshakable belief as your shield, specialized knowledge as your sword, imagination as your architect, an organized plan as your blueprint, decisive action as your first step, unyielding persistence as your marching rhythm, and the exponential power of the mastermind as your allied army. You now possess the individual components of the science of success. The final habit, the one that binds all the others together and ignites them with fire, is the master discipline from which all victory is born. It is the habit of controlling your own mind. Your mind is the sole thing over which you have complete and absolute control. This is the most profound and liberating truth of human existence. You cannot control the weather. You cannot control the economy. You cannot control the thoughts and actions of other people. But you, and you alone, are the sovereign ruler of your own mental kingdom. Wealth, health, and greatness are not things you acquire. They are internal states of consciousness that you cultivate and which then project themselves onto the canvas of your life. The entire world you experience is nothing more than a reflection of the world you have built within your own mind. Therefore, the final and greatest work is internal. It is the work of standing guard at the gateway of your thoughts and permitting entry only to those that are in harmony with your definite purpose. It is the work of consciously transmuting the powerful, raw, and primal energies of your emotions into constructive forces. Within you flows the river of all creation, the immense energy of desire. It is the most potent of all human emotions. For the drifter, this energy is a source of fleeting pleasure and frequent trouble. It is dissipated without thought, scattered to the winds. But the master, the creator, learns the art of emotional transmutation. They learn to take this fiery, primal energy and, through the force of a disciplined will, channel it upward. They redirect it from a purely physical expression into a force of creative genius. This transmuted energy is what gives passion to a speech, charisma to a personality, power to a negotiation, and relentless stamina to a pursuit. It is the rocket fuel of the highest achievers. They do not suppress this fire. They build a more powerful engine to contain and direct it. When you have mastered the control of your mind, when you have harnessed your emotional energy, and when you have faithfully applied all the preceding principles, you begin to access the pinnacle of this philosophy. A new faculty awakens within you. What Napoleon Hill called the sixth sense, your creative imagination becomes a permanent, reliable channel of communication with infinite intelligence. Your intuition becomes so sharp that you seem to know things, without knowing how you know them. You receive flashes of insight, warnings of danger, and notifications of opportunities that are invisible to others. You are no longer just reasoning and planning. You are co-creating in perfect harmony with the universal mind. This is the ultimate reward. It is the state of genius, and it is available to anyone who is willing to pay the price in self-discipline. So, here you stand, at the crossroads of your own destiny. Before you are two paths, one is wide, crowded, and easy. It is the path of the drifter, the path of circumstance, of reacting, of hoping. It requires nothing of you, and it will give you precisely that in return. The other path is narrow, it is steep, and it must often be walked alone. It is the path of the creator, of discipline, of design, of decision. It demands everything from you. It demands that you take absolute ownership of your mind, your habits, and your fate. The choice is yours, and it is made not in a single grand gesture, but in the quiet of this very moment. It is made with your next thought. Will that thought be one of fear or one of faith? Will it be a thought of limitation or a thought aligned with your definite purpose? Do not wait for the world to anoint you. Do not wait for permission. The power was never outside of you. It has been within you, all along, waiting for you to claim it. Begin the work now. Seize control of your mind. Build your habits. Forge your will. The world you desire is not something you find. It is something you build, and your only tools are the thoughts you choose. Choose them well, for in them lies the blueprint of everything you will ever become. The gap between poverty and riches, between failure and success, between mediocrity and mastery, is the width of a single, disciplined thought. Control that, and you control your universe.